All right. Welcome to the Nurture Pod. My name is Iris Sullivan Dare, and I am here with the beautiful Ginger Edwards, reaching across the mighty Pacific Ocean to communicate in this crazy world. And the Nurture Pod is that place of it is about reaching across from where we are to what is possible. So I think it's about flexing what is, not just what is, but what could be, instead of being sucked into the stories of that aren't serving us.
Yeah,
That was probably my least
absolutely.
articulate intro ever. How are you doing, my
I think
beloved?
so. I think there's been other ones that have been pretty inarticulate. I'm just joking. I'm good. I'm in Maui. It's been a long time since we talked. I have moved from Mexico to Northern California to Maui. So I was boom, boom, boom. Got very sick in the last month. So that's why we have not been recording. If any of you have been worried about us, you should have been because I was deathly No, not deathly. I had a really bad lung infection, kind of bronchitis thing that came over me. The new moon in Capricorn, I believe. It was the exact day it started, like it really set in on me and there was like no return. And from that point on, we are approaching a new moon again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been a whole journey, Like I feel like it's been almost a month now and I'm still, you could probably hear it in my voice, a little not 100%. I'm like 90%, I think. But if I get tired, it's like 80%.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so this transition from water to fire, which is what I'm doing, and what the astrology is doing, and maybe we all are if we're not aware of it. There's a big, crazy astrology going on right now, and it kind of kicked my ass physically, pretty hard. So for the whole 6 months I've been traveling, I don't think I mean I had that thing in the Amazon with my stomach, but this has just been like sick in a different way, like old fashioned, like can't breathe sick. um,
Ye
rough, yeah,
old lung ailment,
yeah,
snot,
yeah,
all the stuff.
all this stuff, so horrible. So that's what I've been doing, plus a lot of other things, and we'll get into all the things I've been doing. How are
Oh
you? What
yeah,
are you nurturing? It's been a month. What
it has been a
January?
month, and you
Mm,
know, I I did an extra school in January, and because I needed to substitute for somebody because there was, anyway, just I needed to do that. And oh my lord, it was a super sweet school, and I got to work with real little kids, which I get to work with kindergartners and first graders, which is usually not part of my lineup. And I I just really it was a super sweet school, and
mm,
it really opened up this idea of, because it's a small, they have really small classes just because that's their reality. And one of the other schools I go to had, because of budget cuts, had a 20% increase in class size this year.
mm.
And I can tell that the teachers are kind of stressed and the kids are a little stressed. Like, it makes a big difference to go from 19 kids to 25 kids. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, so anyway, so I've really been thinking about these like two paths that we can walk. Like, you know, we kind of know what we need to thrive. And it's like, yeah, like this is like we are, yeah, we know what we need. And so it's like, oh, all the solutions are so available to us. And what is between us and all children having class sizes of 15 kids? Like, what is standing between us and doing that? And I think we know it's those, it's really boils down to the virus of that takes out empathy Like, I feel like that it's really boils down to,
Mm.
yeah, like what do, yeah, anyway. Oh my lord. So anyway, yeah, I've been really thinking about this contrast thing about when things
Yeah.
are because it's really clear when you're in a situation that is nurturing what is need, taking care of
Yes.
people's needs, how radically different it is than when I mean, and I'm not even talking about the schools right now, but just like in general, like we all feel it, right? Like what happens to us when we're in a situation in which we feel love and acceptance, we our rock
Hmm.
star nature is just blossoming, right? When we're with each other and we're feeling appreciation and connection and all of that, like it's like shoot for the moon, man, And I'm seeing,
Hmm.
yeah, and like watching what's playing out on the national stage and seeing how people are responding to the ice raids with just
Hmm.
overwhelming love and care for each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, that's what
Shout out to Minneapolis.
shout out to
Mhm.
Minneapolis and and a lot of cities,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people are stepping up into that like yeah, and so I'm just seeing that contrast. Maybe that's what we need to really see how we want things to be. Maybe for whatever reason, our consciousness needs that contrast. That's what I've been thinking a lot about.
Yeah. That makes me think of the very wise Carolyn Casey, who does an amazing podcast, and you all should look her up. But one of her metaphors that I really resonate with, especially because I'm a Sagittarius, is that there is the bow and the string and the arrow, right?
Hmm.
And there's a target that we want, and yet the bow is like, oh yeah, but first we have to go backwards. Like we have to be, and the arrow and the string are like, whoa, 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 wrong direction. Like we're getting further away from the target. The more you pull us backwards, and the bow is like, just wait, man. It's gonna get really good after this part. and and I thought that was a great visualization. So sometimes it does feel like we're just being pulled backwards with a lot of tension, like brah,
Yes.
against our will. Like we don't want to go back because we're looking forward and we're like, we can see what needs to happen. Like, why are we going back? But it may be the momentum, the pullback is the momentum that will get us to go faster, farther
Oh my God, I
in the future.
freaking love this.
Don't you love that? I like that
I
too.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I mean, because I think also a lot of times I've like if you ever shot a bow, like that pulling back, like that's not sustainable force, right?
Right.
You
Right.
know? And
Yes.
so to do to,
Takes a
to
lot of effort.
it takes a lot of effort to do that and but the real yeah, like which
Yeah.
makes me think
And
that our
I like it. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, just yeah,
You go
like
on.
no, I'm just saying that like that makes me feel even more hopeful, right? Because it's like the pulling back is not the natural state and not the like, like it's the moving
Yeah.
towards the light is the is the inevitable.
I believe so. I have to believe so.
I have to believe so, otherwise just
And
go jump in the river.
exactly. Right. Exactly. We have to believe so. But it does seem the arc of history would lead us to, lean into that conclusion. Like things do tend to do that. Like in historical times, they go back, they go forward, they go back, they go forward. It's never a linear line of, or you can think of it as a spiral. Like we discover things, we move out, and then we have to do another loop, and it feels like we're right back in the same place we were, but we're not. We're like a loop out. Like we're expanding our awareness, but it feels like we're back in the same place, but we're on the outer loop this time. So it's twisty turny. I mean, I think that's why all these symbols over these ancient temples are all spirals and labyrinths, and you know what I mean? Like they're indicative of these are not straight lines we walk. The magic is kind of in the wandering and the falling down and the getting up and the pulling back and pushing forward. And I mean, I say that with all awareness of how dismal it seems right now. But we cannot see all ends, right? So we don't know how this is all going to work out. The hindsight might lead us to understand it better as a bow and arrow situation. So why not think that? Why not lean into the stretch and get ready for the release? If that's what's happening, then when it's released, like let's try to focus that arrow on where we want it to go with that momentum.
So I I did a post on Instagram today. I haven't really been posting much, but last week I went to the little weird thrift store that I love to go to in Long Beach across the river when I was over there, and there was this little silver pin of a flying horse, which was back, a dozen years ago when I got sick. I had this dream in which I took a ride on this flying horse, and like when I woke up in the morning, I had just like absolute sense of certainty that I was going to be all right. Like it was not,
Wow.
it wasn't like that's not rational or whatever. Like at that moment, like all my doctors are freaked the freak out, and like I had a very
Yeah.
grim diagnosis. So like no, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be good, and like and and so like that was very symbolic for me. Like that, I really I thought about it a lot, and so like I saw that little horse, and I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
What about this time
Yeah.
now? Not about my personal health. Like it felt like okay. And then I was realizing that what happens when you have that sense of it's going to be all right is that it is a call to participate in the miracle. But you have to believe in the miracle
Yeah.
first. And then if you can be like,
Right.
okay, I can believe in that miracle, then you can step towards it. You can participate in making good things happen versus that's just not available if it's like, oh shit, that's it. I'm gonna, like
Right.
that's
Right.
so like that. It's like hope as a call to participate in like it's like the universe wants to, there I do believe that it is a benevolent universe. I think the fact that we have frickin' moon that pulls the tides, and we have sunshine, and we have an atmosphere, and like we have this like incredible thing feels like,
Mm.
yeah, if you believe that
Yeah.
consciousness creates matter, then we are just immersed in utter benevolence and all this
Which we
other.
do here on the Nurture Pod. We believe that
Yes.
consciousness creates matter.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
If you don't
yes.
understand why, look up our past episodes. We've talked about that.
I absolutely, yeah.
Um, and I can't. I mean, it's so appropriate that you would bring up the horse, right? Because I just pulled out my wee moon. That's what I was looking for.
It's the year of the horse
On
is happening
Tuesday,
next. Yes.
I know, Tuesday, 17th, lunar imbolc, new moon in Aquarius. It is a annular solar eclipse, and we move into the year of the fire horse. And right before that, Saturn enters Aries at 0 degrees of Aries. And then on the 20th, that same week, we have this massive conjunction between Neptune and Saturn at 0 degrees Aries. So this is like, if there was ever a
Boom.
reset moment, boom, boom, boom. Like this stuff doesn't happen every year. This is a big year. And was it you that were telling? Was it you? I think it was you that saying that you had an astrologer that had been looking at 2026 for a long time.
Since like 1976, because this
Yeah, tell that story.
conjunction,
Because I think when you, yeah, tell that story.
because like and people can look him up. His name is Steve Judd. He's on YouTube, but he was saying that when because like all these astrologers are like, this is like crazy pants year, and I know that everybody's there is always crazy stuff, but like specifically this week there's a thing that like Saturn and this like conjunction thing on 0 degrees of Aries
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
not like it hasn't happened. Like he went back, like people have gone back like a whole bunch of I think this is the one that they've gone back like thousands of years, or that might be this big pile
Thousands.
up that happens in July. I can't remember, but
Oh
there's
no,
like
it's this conjunction.
it's this conjunction, and so like
It's this
it.
conjunction at 0 degrees Aries. That's why it's so rare. It's at the
Yes,
first moment of the zodiac restarting.
and
So
somebody,
that's very
I just heard another astrologer today saying that there are some some astrologers that chart where 0 degrees Aries is in your chart because it's such a potent point that
yes,
even if you have nothing
yes,
there, it's useful to know where it is on your chart because it's like such the
yeah,
initiation of cosmic stuff. So yeah, so I do feel like
yeah.
and Saturn is like structure, right? And
Saturn
so
is structure, Neptune is dreams and vision.
so
It's like Neptune's kind of the where's the arrow gonna go? Saturn's like, how are we gonna get I mean, what has to happen to get it there? So and Neptune is kind of the big watery abyss, and Saturn is like in Aries specifically, like what am I doing, me personally? Because Aries is such a about you. It's not about and Neptune's like the big dreamy collective, and then you've got Pluto and Aquarius, which is definitely about the collective. And so you've got this like it's both. Like we have to show up
mhm,
strongly with our own self, like fully, and yet we can't do it without
each other.
this is for the collective. Yeah, we have to have each other. This is a collective dream, a collective movement, but there's no like, oh, and then there's going to be a leader and we just follow along. Not with Aries. Aries is like, no, everyone has to lead in their own way, because it's your own vision. But it's all like step up to the plate with your own freaky self now. Like whatever you've got, bring it because it's needed in the collective. The collective is stronger with all of us, claiming our own strength. So my personal chakra journey, this is very interesting, and I aligned up this transition week with Hawaii, because Hawaii is all of this water and volcanoes, and the volcanoes are super active. So you've got, to me, Aries is volcanic because it's initial fire. I mean, this is the fire that creates land. This is coming out of the core of the earth to create new terra firma. I mean, it's amazing. It's like it's the beginning fire. And of course all the whales are here. So there's like, I don't know, 2,000 whales around Maui right now giving birth to their babies.
Wow.
And I've
I,
been on this retreat where we go on boats and we are listening to them in the water and watching them. And I mean, it is the most magical thing in the world to see little tiny baby whales learning to be whales in the ocean with their mothers like pushing them towards the surface and helping them
wow.
churn and helping them breach, and their little flippers come up and you can see them trying to be like, how do I do this? Like, how do I move my tail? And how do I? It is incredibly cute, and they also come here, and the males only tip upside down with their tails to the sky and their mouths to the depths of the ocean, and they sing and they sing and they sing. And Maui is where they come to do that. And so we've got all of this resonance going on around this island I'm sitting on right now too. So that nobody really understands what they're doing. No science has not figured out why they do this, but they'll hang upside down, or upside down for us, but
Yeah.
they'll stay pretty still, and they make all these sounds to the depths. And in
Wow.
my in my little chart of chakra energies of the planet that came from that weird book that was printed in 1960, um, he called Maui one of the spinners, like one of the activator places. So there are places that like keep the dragon lines moving, like they are vortexes in a way. They are about motion, about taking the energy and keeping it moving around the planet. And we saw this beautiful film about whales that one of the women here on Maui did, and it was shown to us as a group on this retreat. And it was so interesting because the whole way it was edited was just these whales, like it was like a spinning, like the whole thing was just really rotational as they're moving in the water and churning and flipping and diving, and like it was just like you watch it and you start to feel like you're spinning yourself, and you get this like energy moving around and around with this. And and then they're birthing and they're mating and they're singing, and it's just like this incredible vortex of life around this island. And I'm sitting in the middle of it, and there's a huge storm right now as I'm sitting here. It's windy and it's pouring rain. It's just wild. It just feels super wild to
Wow.
be here. But being on the ocean and listening to them in the water was really something I'll
Did
never
they
forget.
have,
It's
were
really life.
you physically in the water or did they have microphones in the water?
We were in the water. You can they put microphones in the water too, but there's so many of them here that you don't have to be right next to the whales. You could just be in the water and you can hear them
Wow.
communicating and singing to each other. So the water is literally vibrating with whale song right now. And you know, I personally believe it. I mean, they're coming down from Alaska. They come here to do this for months, give birth and activate this chakra, and then they go back to Alaska to feed because they don't eat while they're here. No, nobody's eating. It's very interesting too. So they're actually like on a
Wow.
fast while they're here doing birthing and mating, and they won't eat again until they go back to Alaska. So it's a really fascinating journey. And also, I learned so many whale facts this week. But the other thing I learned was that the humpback whales, which is what the whales I'm talking about, the females journey alone. Like they'll have their baby, and then they'll take their baby back with them to Alaska, maybe with one escort, but they don't travel as big groups. So I found that to be really interesting because they're very communal. Obviously, when they're here, they're in a huge, there's
Yeah.
tons of them interacting. But while they actually are traveling back and forth, they're fairly solitary. Like these are female solo travelers in a way that they'll raise their
Wow.
baby for a year, they're back alone again. So they're not like orcas where there's like a matriarchy and a pod that stays together for their whole life. Um, and so again, I just kept going back to like Aries and Neptune. Like they have they're very individual as their own selves, and yet they are swimming in this water of consciousness, in relationship to all other whales and all the humpbacks. I just think it's fascinating. I don't know. You can feel it. I mean, I can't put words to it, but you can feel that they're here. It's like
Oh,
an
well,
energy.
like, I mean, that time that the humpback whales were in the Columbia River, and I and I and we got to go. We went down, and they were like, they were swirling around, and I don't know, was it sardines or anchovy, and like jumping out of the water, like this whole crazy thing, and it was like less than 100 feet from where we were standing on the dock. Like that
Wow.
was, I would say, one of the three peak moments of my life, like giving birth to my two
Right.
sons and being in that space with
And
the
whales.
whales. Those are the top three moments of
Yeah.
my entire life. And like, it was such a heart, like, I was just weeping and screaming, I love you. Like, I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was totally
Yeah.
ridiculous. And it was like, I felt like my whole body, and they weren't even singing. It was just like being that close to them, like
Yeah.
unfrickin' believable. There was a whale washed up on Seaside yesterday, like a huge one.
Oh,
I don't remember what kind it is. I just heard about it. Um, I kind of want to go out there. It's like it had been dead. It didn't like wash up and die on shore.
yeah.
They said it was already dead before it came, and they're going to do an autopsy, and so we'll find out. But it was a huge one. It's like
Yeah.
they said it's the one that's like the blue whales are the biggest, and then it's the second biggest whale. It's
Oh,
huge.
wow.
I don't know what it is. I could look it up, but that's
Maybe it's a sperm whale.
no. Is that a right whale? Is that a whale?
I don't,
Is that a huge
don't
one?
know. There have been, sadly, quite a few beached whales along the Oregon coast this year, it feels
Yes,
like.
yes, yes.
So there's a
Um,
lot of grief. Um, there was a lot of really powerful people on this retreat, and a lot of them were visionaries and very tuned in with whale energy. And one of them, we were doing this kind of exercise where we thought about like you presence yourself in the future. She was saying 35 years in the future. Sometimes I do that exercise 2,000 years in the future, whatever, and you talk as if,
oh,
and one of the, as if this happened, right? And so one of the visions, and I'm just going to share it. Shout out to Rachel, who was the one who brought this in the group if she's listening, because I did share my podcast with my group. Um, She had this really amazing vision, and it was like, she talked about, like, many years ago we were all having different dreams, we all wanted different things until the blue whale appeared in all of our dreams. And it was like her vision of what happened to change humanity was this blue whale started to appear in everyone's dreams and lead them through the ocean and show them on one side what it remembers, because whales can live a very long time and have this, embodied history, what what the ocean used to look like, how full, how colorful, how beautiful, and then what it looks like now, how empty and gray. And she said that was enough to change so many people's hearts as they saw, like, the difference. And she described it so beautifully, so movingly. And it was so crazy because we're sitting there, and then the leader of the retreat, Leah Lamb, who is amazing, she's like, do you have any, she's like, you just basically told the plot of my unpublished book that I've written. And so this woman Rachel was saying this as a vision that had just come to her, and she was sitting right next to an author who had written that story down. I mean, it was amazing. There kept being these like layers of synchronicities throughout this group and throughout this week, but that struck me so strongly. This vision of this whale coming to everyone in our dreams and showing us, what could be, what was, what is, and what could be. And
Well, and
um,
it's like totally back
beautiful.
to the idea of left brain, right brain, right? We know that the
Yes.
stories we tell ourselves in our left
Mm-hmm.
brain, this logic and stuff is disconnected from all that is.
Yes.
It's like this, I mean it's useful, but the way to shift that has to come, I think, through stories of the from the right side.
Yes.
It has to come through that watery element I oh, that is also very, very beautiful.
It's very beautiful. I didn't think about the left and right side of the brain, but you're right that that imagery does suggest that, right? That we can see things in different ways. One side sees it this way, one side sees it that way. That's fascinating. Yeah, there's so much richness, I think, in the Neptune transits, because Neptune is the dreamer, and it's definitely the ocean. And so as it enters Aries, it's just this really, like, I don't know, like fresh take, like what new dreams can we have? Like what new visions can we have? Because certainly the what's being handed is like future stuff. It's very old. It's like I've said this before. Like they're rehashing old tapes, of bigotry
Yes.
and fear. And I mean, this is
Yes.
old stuff. This is not interesting. It's, I mean, in a way, it's just like, oh, come on, really? Like this is the best you can do. And I mean, sure, it shocks our nervous systems. They know how to, they know how to get people to move. Like, oh, you poke us with that stick, we're gonna be like, oh god, and we have this reaction. But I do think that there are many, many, many people who have seen the emperor with no clothes, and it's like, yeah, you can't poke me with that stick anymore. Like I I'm so ready for something different, something new, something interesting, something that hasn't been, that we haven't surfaced in a long time from the collective unconscious, like some deep diving into the
Yes.
depths to like really surface some new, fresh, circulate some fresh material up into the consciousness. Because I mean, if nothing else, when you're in the ocean and there's whales singing, I mean, really, we are water planet, we are ocean planet, and when you're in there, it's like this seamless field of consciousness. The ocean is one, no, there's no boundaries, no, it's just
Yes.
one seamless field. So it is the visual interpretation of that field of consciousness, of the unified field. That's what the ocean is. Like when you're in it, I mean, it makes total sense that the
Well,
whales would be in the ocean. Like this is where you do magic. This is where everything's connected. This is where the sound can travel for miles. This is where, you are breathing and just, interacting with everything all at once. It's water.
and
And
it's
then you
all
come,
the
and the brilliance of her, oh sorry, the brilliance of the film, the documentary she made. Now I'll put the name of that in the notes. Was every once in a while the camera would come up above the surface, and then it would go back down, and it was just coming up above the surface to show you like air and like island and whatever. And it was so jarring because the whole thing is like this beautiful underwater, like blue flow and whales and light, and then it comes up and you're like, whoa. And you kind of, we as land dwellers, yeah, we kind of, it's left more left brain. Like we see things in, there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this, there's island, and this, like, and if you're underwater, you can't. It just starts to become like a beautiful blur. So I've been snorkeling a lot this last little bit, this last month, Belize and Mexico and Hawaii, and yeah, just oh man, just being underwater is, I could be under
Well,
there
think
forever.
about, I
It's
mean,
just
think
like the
about like the amniotic
flow.
fluid.
Awesome. Yeah, it's salty water. I mean, this is
Like
so
we
comforting.
are from that. We are literally from
We
water.
are 70% that. Yeah. Yeah,
And
we're water creatures.
we're totally.
Yeah.
And so like that's in our deepest thing is because that's yeah, like yeah, we're
Yeah.
so lovely.
Yeah. So I'm just like, was realizing maybe we just have to, really the oceans might be what we have to be spending more time in, and water to just shift into that right brain, unified visionary field, because the land can be a little, I mean, we love the earth, but it's interesting. The difference is so, profound. And I don't know, I have a lot of this coming up because I've been doing water chakra for the last 6 months. So I came here to do my master's degree. Not really. It's an initiation of a lifetime of work. The ending of the 6 month initiation with the water chakra is kind of now, like lunar imbolc, when we
Yeah.
go into this, Aries alignment. I'm I'm releasing that, and I'm going to go over to the Big Island on that day, and actually, Kilauea, which is the volcano, is going crazy. Like she's just explode. Like Pele is very active right now. So I'm gonna go sit with fire and just be like, "Whoa,
Wow.
fire!" Lava, and just start the initiation there. But and I could feel it already shifting a little bit, and I think that's why I'm getting sick. My body is like, "What are we doing? We've been doing this, and now we're doing something very, very different." Um, and that'll lead me to Australia next. But I yeah, gosh, so much stuff has been coming up, like so much hard stuff. The shedding of the last couple weeks of wood snake, this is coughing I've been doing. Um, Hard stuff was coming up in this retreat. Hard stuff was coming up in Mexico. Just like, you know, things from the depths, right? Things are being
Yes.
surfaced, like, and reflected. I was thinking the reflection is also really high on the water scale of like things that are being reflected back to you, things that are being surfaced up, things that have to be cried about, things that are not going to be ignored anymore. And this group of people we were with, which was a beautiful group of 13, um, oh my gosh, we thought we were going to hear for whales. We were here for so much about group dynamics and like
Oh,
processing, and there's so many things came up. A lot of people got sick. It was just like this whole, again, I feel like I was in the same lesson. I was very similar lesson in Mexico, kind of came up again, um, about who am I? Who are you? How do we get along? How do we do this? Throw an illness in there. How are we going to build community and change the world when we can't even like have a whale retreat together without, you know,
yeah.
without like, getting stressed out? I mean, our nervous, how do we soothe ourselves? How do we take responsibility for our own nervous systems? How do we love each other? I mean, it is up. And I do think that whale magic is asking us to think about all that stuff. It's like,
Yes.
humans, get your shit together. If you're going to, you know, like this is the lesson we have for you, because whales also move very slowly. Like they'll just lay in the ocean for hours and hours, just basically chilling out. They're resting. And it was crazy to be on the boats, and like you could feel yourself being like, I want to see a whale. I want to see a whale. Where's the whale? You know what I mean? And really, it's when you drop out of that energy and you just relax, then they start to show up, because they could feel the I don't know, it felt very clear, like they could feel the energy of the group. Like when we relaxed, like, yeah, we're right here. We're right here. I mean, literally, we're under the water. But if you want to, just chill, and then we will
So
surface and show you our baby.
I've got like this fireworks going on in my head right now. One,
Oh,
no, in the best way. Like frequency, right? It's always back to frequency. And so like the
yes,
ocean is like this like interact all these different frequencies, like there's the waves and the frequency of movement, and then there's the sound and how the sound is moving through, and it's like all the life in the ocean, in the heart frequency of all of that. And it's like, and then you think about like that thing where you bless the water, and like then it's like these beautiful crystals are coming out of it. So there is like this, like all the everything, like it's so that was going on. And then the other
Yes.
thought that was like, there's those the monks from Fort Worth that are walking to Washington D.C. They're almost there.
Mm.
They are calling for people to join on Wednesday. They'll
Mm.
be there, and there's going to be a mass meditation
Mm.
for peace and compassion that they're asking
Oh,
people to
lovely.
join wherever you are. And I think that'll be
Mm.
live streamed. I was realizing it here on West Coast time. It is, their the talk and stuff starts at 1:30 on Wednesday, which is like when I get over to my after school program. I was like, I wonder if I can get the kids to meditate. I'm gonna try to,
Yeah.
right? But like just your
Mhm.
thing, like thinking about the whales are just being, and that every breath
Mm.
a whale takes is like it's not like they can't just breathe any old time. Like talk about
Yeah.
mindful breathing. They absolutely have to be
Yes.
mindfully breathing. And then think
Mm.
about what is their track back and forth from Alaska, but a peace track, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not dissimilar to them walking 2,300 miles to.
Absolutely.
It's not just, it's very, it's farther. I mean, but whales are huge. But anyway, so those are all the exploding, like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, I love that piece. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if there were monks of the ocean, the whales are.
Right?
And but what it fascinates me is like what they're coming to chant. Like they're coming to chant to this like warm water sacred birthplace that they're born from. They're coming back to their birthplace, and they're singing to this chakra point, this spinner, this Maui, this amazing like creative. I mean, this is the youngest land in the world. This is this place is like being born all the time. It's an active volcano, So it's one of the places that the human civilization is at the least impact on. Like the plant species here are like um the had the least amount of time that humans have interacted with them, maybe a couple hundred years. So it's really a fresh kind of, space. And I think that's super interesting when you think about Aries and all of this, I don't know, this energy right now that we're in, and the newness of it, and yet the ancient journey of these whales that have been coming here for God knows how long to give birth in these, bays and these waters. And I mean, it is just magical time right now, and it's a hard time. Things are crazy on land. Things are. It feels so divisive. We see all the division, and I think that what I started realizing was water. You don't. I mean, water is seamless and reflective, and the ripples
Mm,
travel, and the
mm.
vibrations travel, and the frequencies travel, and most of the planet is water, and so yeah, I guess fire will be really interesting shift for me to be with the fire element, but Hawaii is that place of both, and just offering that as like my current meditation, I guess, of how do I mean we're being asked to balance these energies right now. We're asked to be looking at them, exploring them within ourselves and in our communities and in relationship to the future and the past. Um, Fire is new. All fire is new. All water is ancient. So you've got
Mhm.
this juxtaposition again. Like all water has been on this planet forever. It just changes form. So there is no new water. Earth is the same water that's been here for billions of years. All fire, though, is brand new because that fire has never been there before. It's like a new chemical reaction that will change. So they're so different and yet they're totally connected. Um, Transformation
Oh my
of
gosh.
one thing to the next. And we are in such a point of transformation right now as a
Yes.
species. Like
Yes.
we are in it. And so I don't know, it feels very many, many people said like the whole Hawaiian tradition, the indigenous tradition here is about the four elements. That's their root. And we get this really cool opportunity to go out these outrigger canoes and paddle them as the sun rose over the
Wow,
the
wow,
volcano
wow.
here, and with Hawaiian peoples who were singing the gratitude songs for this out as we were paddling. And it was so beautiful because I think their language is probably the most beautiful languages on the planet. So we were paddling and they were singing, and the oars were, we had to stay in rhythm with the oars, and the sun was rising. Oh man, it was just so magical. It was such a beautiful moment. And they navigate by the stars, right? So like they're this group of people are practicing like sailing these boats and stuff by stars for different islands, and they took one from Seattle all the way out to Hawaii just by navigation with stars, and so they're reclaiming their
Oh my
indigenous
God.
wisdom.
They were the
I
most
know, and
incredible navigators the world has ever known.
exactly, and because they understood the ocean. I mean, yes, they understood the stars, but they understood currents, and they understood that the ocean has so many facets to it. But when you're in one of those little boats, you're like, these boats are little. I mean, they really are small. Like, it's amazing that they did. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine like going over giant ocean Pacific swells with no land in sight in a dugout like
For
outrigger.
thousands of miles.
Thousands of miles. It is incredible. Like what humans are capable of, incredible. Truly incredible. And I think that we're, like we have the capacity to do amazing things with these elements. Like we tune in, and like we
Yes.
become so much more than I think we understand ourselves to be in this modern world that hands us all the conveniences and hands us all the whatever's, widgets and plastic things. And but really I think it's in a way like we these when you're around these cultures that are rooted, it's like, oh man, but I don't think any of that's progress. I think we're kind of like getting dumber. Like I think we need to go back into our deep intelligence, and our deep power, which comes from the earth. It comes from the ocean. It's not coming from our just little left brain. Our left brain tells us it's coming from there, but I don't think
Yes.
it is. It's like, and so I'm looking out the window. It's just pouring rain right now, like windy and wild and beautiful. Um, yeah, so I'm just in deep gratitude for the island Maui. I'm on Maui, and this moment we're all in. I know I always say this, like it's so beautiful stuff. I mean, I've been sick. Things have been hard this last. I'm not sugarcoating it, and I know there's very hard things going on in the world and very sad things, and grief is a part of that. But for the purpose of our podcast, I just want to keep reminding people of the beauty, that there's so much beauty and potential all around us. And if anything embodies that, it's whales. Like, wow. To me, it's a wow. Like we are not the only ones here that has intelligence that can lead towards healing. There are other
Oh,
beings that are trying,
yes, yes, yes.
that are um, leading the way, and by their example of how they are
And this
mysterious, but
this this
magical.
this idea, this like Cartesian, Calvinistic, materialistic thing that's like disconnected, I think it's crumbling. I think it's not, it can't
Absolutely.
withstand, it will not make it to the other side of this crucible that we are all entering. That because
No, because I simply
it's just not real.
and it takes so much energy, like you said, like to pull back the string takes a tremendous amount of force,
Yes.
and that force cannot you can't hold that forever. I mean, that force is not designed to be held forever. And so if we go back to that metaphor, like we're being pulled back, but man, is it taking a lot of money and a lot of
Yes.
force and a lot of craziness, and I mean billionaires and power and weapons. I mean, think of all the things that it's taking to drag us back. And who knows? I mean, the potential of all that dragging back is that people are waking up. People are getting like, whoa, what are we doing as a species? Like, what is this going on? And so you never know. Like maybe at some point there'll be enough pressure, the bow is released, and we'll all move forward. I think the key for people who are alive to that potential is where's the target? Like, if that happens, like, where are we going? And
Right, right. Which is
I
why
feel like
what's the
that's our
visioning.
job as
Yes.
visionaries to really articulate the target, because when people feel the momentum to go forward, let's let's have something to move towards with all of that
Yes,
joy and energy.
yes,
Let's
yes.
go, and not be like, oh my god, we just got released into chaos. Like we got released and now we don't know what we're doing because we were familiar with the old. I mean, obviously
Yes.
we know that. So again, the articulation of where we want that arrow to fly to, and that is an individual question. Where do you want your personal arrow to fly this year? And also, how does that relate to everything around you? You know. But I
So
think we don't have to figure that out with our heads. So we can figure that out with the elements, like tapping into that.
and
And
like
go ahead.
two things. One, this last the thing that I do in the schools, I'm one of 9 teachers in all these different schools, but we all do the same lesson, and the lesson was around color theory and watercolor. And the thing that was super interesting is how, of all the lessons that I've done, the kids just were so immediately able to drop into this really flow state with watercolor, like more than any other. I mean, we do a lot of really cool projects in this program. Like, I'm not designing them, I'm just one of the cogs in the cool machine. But like, it was really notable. Like sometimes you could hear a pin drop, which is very unusual
Uh,
with elementary school
mm-hmm,
kids, for them to spend 15
mm-hmm,
minutes completely absorbed in what they were doing.
mm-hmm.
And I think that, so it's like, I think giving ourselves permission to just play creatively. It's not about, I think that on the other side of that, you have like they were all having so many ideas, and like, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
we need to give ourselves permission to play. It's not about
Yeah.
producing for some purpose other than giving ourselves our nervous system the ability to relax, and
Yeah.
and it's like it's essential. It's not it's essential work. I think we would all benefit
Absolutely.
from it. And then the other thing, is that I've connected in the last 10 days with, some really important people that I've been connected to for 30 years. So, Joe and I drove down to Eugene, and we spent the weekend with my mentor. They're both in their 80s, and and we stayed with, Marilyn and her husband, and, my professor that I taught with. Anyway, I know them from my university days, and they both taught, and it was deeply, deeply nurturing and deeply wonderful. And both of them have recently had very significant deaths, close deaths. And so the conversations that we were having together about life and death and grief and beauty, and we went to the museum together to see this exhibit, and just to be around people in their 80s so filled with appreciation and curiosity. And, it was just such a it was so good for all involved. Were like, oh yeah, this is what it's about, is being with people that you love. Like, and I'm like, why have I not been visiting them regularly for all these years?
Right.
I
Right.
like,
Mm-hmm.
and so like I was having
Yeah.
that,
Absolutely.
and then, I was having that thought
Yeah.
of like, wait, why am I not spending time with the people that light me up? And then my a good friend from the same time period, like when I first moved to Eugene, for like 19, we've been friends since 1990, called and said, hey, I'm coming next weekend. Can I come see you? She's like, I've been told. And the thing that was so interesting is like that, like literally that morning, I woke up thinking about her. And then that, talk about synchronicities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, oh, totally
Yeah.
thinking about her. And then like that, like at, that afternoon, she like called. I'm like, oh my God, I was thinking about you so hard. And she's like, oh, I've been thinking about you so hard.
Nice.
And she's like, in part, when we were talking, she brought up this realization of like, wait a minute, why am I not prioritizing? Like, she has
Yeah.
a job that's very consuming, and like she's like, I realized it's like, wait, if I just stopped work tomorrow, what would I do? And it was like, immediately I was like, oh, these are the people I want to spend time with. Why? And it's just like, wait, it's like you
Mm-hmm.
wake up from this dream of having worked for 25 years,
Yeah.
and And so anyway, which brings me back to this time, this pivotal time.
Mm.
Who do you love?
Yes.
What do you love? And I think that part of like what is that chaos, once the it is released, it will be inherently obvious when you are with your people, or if you're doing things,
Mm.
if you're doing things in a parasympathetic, flow state,
Yeah.
it will just be revealed. I think. I don't think it's not like,
Mm.
if we give ourselves the space. It's like when you change the sheets and make the bed, the cat immediately sits on top of it. The ideas are immediately going to arrive, just like the cat.
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry.
it's like my old light bulb theory, right? Like we don't need to go find anything. It's all
It's
within
all
us. The
right
light is
there.
on. It's all right there. All we have to do is scrape some of the dust or dirt that's accumulated over the light bulb because we're glowing. Like we have everything we need. There's no and the dust and the dirt just represents a lot of old thought patterns and like trauma and stories that we've picked up from the culture that just keep us like, oh no, I have to keep looking. It's so dark. I have to keep looking for light. And we're the light. We're the radiance. And with that, I just got a low battery warning from my Mac.
Okay. All right. It's good.
Because
No,
I
it's
can't,
good.
because we've discussed this. I can't plug my Mac in and my microphone at the same time, which is so a flaw. Thank you, Mac. I'm registering a complaint, Apple. Um, I love you so much. I think
I
that's a
love you so much.
um, beautiful thing to end on. Like who do you love? What do you love doing? And when you're in that space, what comes out? What comes forward? What's that's going to be where your arrow is pointed. And for me, I realize that as I travel, it's not really about stuff or a house. It's about people. That's who I miss. That's what. It's about relationship. Um, and that's what starts to surface as important. That's what you like long. That's what the heart wants. It's what it
Mm-hmm.
longs for. Truth, beauty, and connection. And I think the whales. I'm gonna go back to just honoring the whales and how beautifully
Yes.
they
Oh
they
my
talk.
God. Yes.
Um,
I love that dream.
so I know. Well, we're all waiting for the blue whale to appear in our dreams and show us the path forward. So call. Let's just call it in. Call it in. And also, everybody have this wonderful lunar imbolc. Big week ahead. It's just ride those waves. They're going to be coming in lots of insights. I mean, things are going to start showing up. So get your journal handy. Light your candles. This is going to be a big download for the collective. So hopefully, we're all can find a space to be calm and receptive to the messages coming through. The whales
Yes.
are doing their part. They're singing to the chakra of the Hawaiian Islands. They're spinning the wheel, and then just think of all the trees and the mush. Everyone's doing their all these entities like doing their thing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we
Yes.
can
And the
we can
peace,
we can
and
tune into that. We can be part of that. We're part of that vibration if we add to it. So I love that. The monks are calling us to add
it's
to
the
it.
if
Let's do
you
that on
it's like
Wednesday.
walk for peace. You can just look up walk for peace. I'm sure you can
Yeah,
find the
Google Walk for
connection.
Peace. Yes. All right.
Oh my gosh,
I love
big
you so
love. I
much.
love you so much. Oh my gosh.
It won't be as
Mm.
long. We will not wait this long again for you, everyone. I'm gonna be in van life for the next week, so I will not be on. But it will. I'll find you again. I'll find
All
you
right.
again from the Big Island and
All
the
right.
volcano, and we'll talk fire.
Ah, yeah,
Okay.
totally. I love you so much.
Oh,
Safe journey.
I love you, darling.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.